Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again this morning. I am going to do another quick video, still talking about, kind of following up on my last video where I'm talking about the Dr. Earth liquid fertilizer. Now this is not, this bottle is not actually what's in here. I filled it with this to make it a little easier to dispense. But I'm going to show a different way you can use this, other than putting it in the watering can and using it like fertigation. It's kind of a quicker, easier way to do it, and so I'm going to show that and talk about that. Don't really have a whole bunch going on. I've thought about, I need to look up and see if there's anything that I can really plant right now, because you know, going into winter, it's not the best time to plant things. I mean, here we kind of have a year-round growing season because we don't have harsh winters, but we do get frost and occasionally we'll get a freeze, so anything that doesn't like that is not a good idea to plant it right now. But I'm thinking about trying to plant some, if it's the proper time, trying to plant some turnips and possibly some rutabaga. We've found that we like to eat that a lot, and you know, as much fun as it is to experiment with different types of crops and stuff like that, I like to grow stuff that I know we're going to eat, and not stuff that's just gonna, you know, okay, we can grow it, but we're not going to do anything with it. Like for instance, the cassava. I still have cassava, but I never use it, mainly because it still scares me, because you gotta prepare it and cook it right, otherwise it can make you sick. And that just scares me a little bit. I don't know why, but so we've never used it. I just kind of let it grow because it's already there and it just kind of does it on its own. But I don't know, maybe we'll use it one day. But you know, I want to grow stuff like we've been using a lot more turnips lately. We've been using a lot more rutabaga lately, stuff like that. So I want to be able to grow stuff that we're actually using to try to save money and that sort of thing. So I'm going to head out to the garden and I will be back with you there. I'm going to show you another way to use this that is a little easier than putting it into water and watering with it. So be right back. All right, look at my pretty little cranberry hibiscus, and there's a bunch on here. I know that I could pick these off and make stuff with it, but it doesn't have enough for me really to do anything with, so I'm not going to. That's why I haven't done anything with it right now. Once it gets bigger and produces more, you see, like you get, ouch, it's prickly. I can't really get it off. But in here is the little there's a little like a pod that you can that's where the seeds and stuff are. But yeah, I just haven't done anything with it because it hasn't produced enough to really do anything with. So, but anyways, back to what I was going to talk about. Man, I need to do some hoeing out here. Another thing you can do with this is, instead of putting it in a watering can and diluting it and doing it that way, you can simply come out here, and it kind of gives you a guide on the back. Says for every gallon of soil, it's 1 time. It said 1 pump per gallon of soil is a great rule, but obviously these aren't in pots, so I have to do, it says if it's in a large pot, 4 to 5 pumps. So that's kind of what I do with this. So all you got to do is that right there. Now, you have to water that in to get that down into the soil. So, that's the only thing. You still have to water it, but it does make it a little easier. You can come out and just pump it at the base of your plants. And it does, in a way, make sure that it gets to the plant roots better, because you're doing it right at the base of the plant. This is kind of a maze here. I'm trying to get it into the... Oh, there's a bee, look. I love when I see bees in my garden. And I have been finding pumpkins that are growing, and I have not fertilized them. I have not pollinated them. So the bees have been at work in, in the garden. Mosquito flying around me. So, we'll do that. This tomato plant has gotten just absolutely everywhere, but it is putting on some serious tomatoes. It's almost time for me to harvest, or not harvest, well, I mean, I guess it's harvesting. Chop some of this Mexican sunflower, because I was waiting till it was about my height, and it's pretty much there. It's not, that doesn't take long because I'm a short guy, but yeah. Put some there. Let's put some here. Get some in the, well, there's a oak tree growing right here. See, there's the acorn. Man, the mosquitoes have been awful lately. Absolutely awful. So, none of the, whoops, oh well, I'll water that off. None of the, I'm trying to see if this maybe will hang on, but I doubt it. None of my okra has done well. It just hasn't. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's nematodes, because okra tends to draw them in. Let's see, I've got more tomatoes coming. Once all these tomato plants start coming in and start really putting out tomatoes, 4, 5, we're gonna have tons of them, because they're all putting on tomatoes right now, except for these two back here that are the youngest ones, but they're all doing well. 3, 4, 5, and come over to my sad looking blueberry plants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seriously about to give up on blueberries. I cannot figure out how to get them to stay alive. They may just be going dormant, I don't know, but I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. I haven't really been fertilizing the pumpkins because they're kind of doing their own thing, and I'm not going to do 5 on each one of these. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, getting bitten by a mosquito. 1, 2, 1, 2. These beans are probably not going to last much longer. 1, 2, although we've gotten basically a half gallon of them, so 1, 2. It doesn't take much of these to get a lot, because they're so big that you can you snap them into little pieces, and you have, you know, beans that are the size of like a can of green beans that you would buy at the store. And that's yet another great thing about the snake beans, is that, you know, you don't have to grow a ton of them to get a lot of beans. So I can't recommend snake beans to people enough. That, and they taste really good. They taste different than a regular green bean. I'm gonna have to come in here and re-till this ground. They taste a little different than a regular green bean, but I like it. It tastes really good. Let's give this chayote that sprouted some love. Why not give some to the mums? Why not? And I do want to come over here and hit this lime tree. I have put a spike over here, and I'm hoping some of the leaves are starting to yellow a bit. I'm hoping that just maybe shows it needs a little nitrogen. But I have a fertilizer spike down in there. I'm hoping that it's not already getting greening, because if it is already getting greening, then that's all she wrote for that tree. Because greening is a nasty thing. And well, let me give some to my passion vine, and then I'll put some on the vanilla. But yep, you can go around and do this instead of fertigating. Either way works. I don't know if you saw that one of the rows I have out there has some of this wood chip mulch. And I had said I wasn't going to do that. I said I wasn't going to put that in the garden. But, hold on, I can't count and talk at the same time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to do 4 for these guys. I need to look into some orchid fertilizer. I'm sure Dr. Earth has something. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, that's about it. But you do have to water it in to activate it. But I said I wasn't gonna put that mulch out in the garden, and the only reason that I did was the other day I came out and I was getting some to put more mulch in my flower bed in the front, and as I was digging it up, it was loaded with worms. I mean, pretty much every scoop of that mulch had a worm in it. And so I said, you know what, I need to put this out in the garden, because, you know, put some worms out there, that'd be really good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a thin layer of it out there. I'm not really looking to build up the mulch with that alone, because I'm going to be doing mulching with all sorts of stuff, but I'll use some of it just to get the worms out there. I'm just filling this up so I can water the fertilizer in. I just watered the garden yesterday, so I don't want to do a ton. Don't want to overwater. But when I saw all those worms, I had to put some out in the garden. So I finished the flower bed, so I'm gonna put some more out in the garden on a different day, or it's gonna take more than one day. That's why I wear rubber boots. That, and the grass has usually got dew all over it, and if I wear regular shoes, it soaks through and my socks are wet and my feet are wet. So I've switched to wearing these rubber boots because, you know, for obvious reasons. But so then once you put that fertilizer at the base of your plants, all you got to do is come along and water it a little bit to activate the fertilizer. And it somewhat activates it, but it also waters it down so it'll sink down into the roots. But yeah, it was just loaded, absolutely loaded with worms. So I'm just like, okay, you got to go out into the garden. So I'm going to put that all along in here. Like I said, just a thin layer. I'm not trying to cover it with a seriously thick layer of mulch. I'm going to be mulching with a lot of other things. I'm probably going to gather up a lot of these cherry little leaves and spread them out you know, because that's the whole idea with this grocery row gardening, is you mulch with whatever you have, you know. Like this, I had, and I need to do it again, I need to trim, but I trimmed this tomato back from these blackberries, and I just, you know, you don't throw it away, you just leave it in the garden, because when you do, it will break down and it will mulch, you know, wherever you're wherever you put it, it will mulch there, and it'll break down kind of like I guess kind of like a green manure. And the mosquitoes are awful. I don't know what, just recently they've been so bad. Like, you seriously can't come outside and you're not getting swarmed by mosquitoes. I don't know why. But yeah, this is all you gotta do, and that gets it going. And see, I'll wash that off, it'll be fine. Of course, I hate it when I see that right there, see it running off, but I mean, I can't really do anything about it. It just does, you know, the way these rows are, kind of just does that. There's something right here I'm gonna get. Where did I see it? I'm gonna get out of here. Oh, there it is. This looks like an air potato right there. Yeah. Well, that may have been a mushroom. It looked like an air potato trying to start to grow right there, and I don't want that. I wish that we could eat air potatoes. They are related to yams. The yam that I'm growing. The yam that I'm growing is the Dioscorea alata variety. So it's edible. Mine is technically called the winged yam. But look, there's a little flower opening right there. I love these snake bean flowers. They're like a purple color. They're so pretty. But the Dioscorea, the air potato that is, you know, plagues us here in Florida. The air potato is Dioscorea bulbifera, and I wish we could eat it, but it's poisonous. Apparently, according to David the Good, there are varieties that you can still find that you can eat, but man, if we could eat the ones that just grew wild, we'd have yams for days, because they're just all over the place and they grow rampant. I'm just gonna pop up here and get some of that. If you hear my kids yelling and hollering in there, get some of the rainwater. I haven't had any hummingbirds lately. I think the little hummingbirds left. This thing is still popping with flowers, but anyway, you get the point. This is what I'm gonna do with the rest of the, I'm gonna water the rest of it in, and then that'll be probably gonna call that a day. I trimmed some trees lately, because that's another thing you gotta do. See, probably I need to start showing other stuff like that on my channel, because if it's a homesteading channel, homesteading is more than just gardening. But I trimmed some limbs, and I'm gonna be burning most of them off. The problem is I'm not really taking very good care to keep them from getting wet, and that's my fault. Whoop. That's my fault. But see, you can see where I put the mulch in up here. But I'm gonna be burning them using some biochar. I already burned some. I can probably get some charcoal out of that, but making some biochar, I need to cut one of the tops off of those barrels that I got, and use that to make some good biochar. So I'm gonna give I want to give it a try, and again, it's gonna be one of those things where I, you know, you're technically supposed to put in biochar before you put a garden in. You put it in the ground, then you put it in the garden. But I already have the garden, so I'm going to do it a different way. You know, there's a little frog. Or a little toad, I should say. It looked like he had stuff on him, so I washed it off for him. He may not appreciate that, but itty bitty toad. See? He looks like one of our native southern toads, so I like to have those around. They'll eat bugs. We do have something called a cane toad. That's kind of its, I don't know, bufo toad or something like that is the real name, but cane toad is what, you know. I know we have the Cuban tree frog that has gotten into Florida, and basically that's all you ever see around here anymore is the Cuban tree frog. But don't know if the cane toads are from Cuba as well, or I think they're from somewhere in the Caribbean, but I don't know. I'm rambling now, and I'm sorry, but that's not a cane toad. That's a little southern toad. That's one of our native toads. But since I'm almost done anyways, just keep walking with me. I'll water in these back here, these vanilla. Yeah, I really do need to look for an orchid fertilizer. But yeah, Dr. Earth, like I had mentioned in my last video, check them out. Dr. Earth has some really, really good stuff. And it's all, I believe it's all organic. So, look into it. I'm sure that they've got something that you could use. Whatever it is you're doing, you know, it's not just for vegetables and stuff like that. He's got stuff. They have stuff. I don't know if it's a he or not, but they have stuff for flower gardening. I mean, all kinds of stuff. They have stuff for your lawn, if you're into that sort of thing. I always encourage people to forego lawns and grow food, but you know, some people like a nice lawn, and I mean I have a lawn, but it's not really a lawn, it's just a yard, because I don't put St. Augustine grass and manicure it and all that stuff. But if you like having a nice manicured lawn, that's your thing, you know, no big deal, it's just your thing. You can do both. You can have a nice manicured lawn, put you some raised beds in there, some containers, and grow your food. But anyways, that is all for today. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes out here. So there goes one. You probably saw it on the camera. They're like dinosaurs, man. They're huge. Anyways, that's all I'm going to do today. And it's literally sitting on my phone right now. That's another way you can use that fertilizer, and it works well. So get you some Dr. Earth fertilizer. Get you some. Go on their website, drearth.com, and find something that you need, because I'm sure that they have it. And like I said, great company, great products. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and drop a comment. Let me know you were here, and hope to talk to some of you. And until next time, please take care. I'll be back next week. Have a good one.